Hey folks, welcome back to another episode of the Choecast. I am your beloved English teacher, Miss Choi. You can't hear it, but there is a dude mowing his lawn right outside my window, like directly outside it. How y'all doing? You guys okay? That's a dumb question. Of course we're not okay, but have to ask, right? Pretend that at least some things are still holding up. Topic for today. What is today? It's going to be Friday, May 12th. Can you believe it's May already? I cannot. The topic for today is going to be F this. I'm going to be famous. And I think I might do like the F apostrophe, keep things at least a little bit school appropriate, although I think I've said shit and all this stuff on the podcast already, but whatever. This is a tricky topic for me because I never want to be the person that's responsible for crushing someone else's dreams. If you really do want to pursue something and you really in your heart say, this is what I'm going to set my mind on, I do not ever want to become the adult in your life that said, you're not going to be able to do that, or to make you feel like I'm looking down on you. But I feel like the dangers of deciding to pursue fame as your goal in life it's not something that can be minimized. We can't act like it doesn't exist, because obviously there are people that have made it. That's why we have celebrities. And on top of that, there are a lot of celebrities that came from situations that were challenging. They overcame a lot of obstacles to be able to make it, and I think that's amazing. It really is. That's not really what I'm here to discuss. I'm not saying that, oh, you're not going to make it, just give up. What I'm saying is that there are some people, maybe a lot, I don't want to put a number to it. There are some people that say, I'm going to make it as an excuse to escape the present. And that is kind of the issue that I want to talk about today. I think this is something that I heard ever since I was in school myself too. So it's not a new thing. In a situation in the classroom where someone's not doing the work or someone's frustrated, they'll think that I'm not listening. And when I turn my back, they go, oh, F this shit. I'm going to become a rapper anyway. I'm going to drop out. I'm going to become a basketball player. I'm going to become a YouTuber. I'm going to become an Instagram model. And I don't think there's anything wrong with having dreams of something bigger and better. But usually I hear someone saying that when a situation is difficult and they don't want to confront it. They don't want to solve the problem now. And I think some people use that I'm going to become famous excuse as a way to kind of cop out of reality. And that is an issue, because if you say, I'm failing all of my classes in school right now, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to drop out, I'm going to become a YouTuber. If you do become a YouTuber and you become super famous and rich, great, I'm happy for you. But what if you don't? Then you dropped out of school. You have no workable skills. You have no job references. You have nothing as a backup plan. And that becomes very dangerous, because obviously in my heart, I want everyone to succeed and everyone to achieve every goal that they've ever set for themselves. But that's not how the world works. Sometimes we fall short of our goals. Sometimes our goals change. Sometimes our goals take longer to achieve than we think they are. So you have a timeline for yourself. I'm going to become famous by 20. What if you don't make it till you're 30? What are you going to do for those 10 years? You have to do something in the meantime. I know of a lot of YouTubers who had careers and then they made it when they were a little bit older. Or there are some YouTubers who still work while they do YouTube because they want to have a backup plan. What if their channel gets hacked and taken over? What if they get demonetized? What if they get canceled and they can't use YouTube as a source of income anymore? Well, they want to have a backup plan. Obviously, I'm not saying that you should prepare to fail. What I'm saying is more that if you use your pursuit of fame as an excuse to escape your responsibilities, you might find that that can come back to bite you in the ass later. For example, I've said this before and I'll say it again, but let's say you are amazing at basketball. You are the best basketball player that has ever gone to our school, and you are truly a blessing upon the court, and your goal is to play professionally. Okay, that's cool. Spend your time playing basketball. I love that. Pursue it. I love it. Keep at it. But if you choose to drop out of school, then you don't get a chance to play basketball in college. And that's where a lot of people get scouted for professional teams. Let's say you do want to go to college, but you did badly in your classes, then you're not going to get a scholarship. You need to maintain a certain GPA to play on a sports team. So That's kind of down the drain if your GPA is a 0.3. Let's say you do manage to graduate, but you didn't take your studies seriously and you need to sign an MBA contract and you don't read it carefully and you end up getting really screwed over because you didn't know how to read properly. There's just a lot of pitfalls to ignoring the things that you need to have as basic skills before you're able to move on to the next step. I think a lot of complaints that I hear are, why do I need to do algebra, miss? Miss, why do I need to read this book? This is stupid. I'm never going to use it in real life. Do you think I'm teaching you about a book because your life is going to revolve around the goddamn kite runner? We're reading because you're building up skills while you're reading. I don't announce it every single second of every day. This is the skill you're working on, but you're building up basic thinking and reading and writing skills that you're going to need no matter where you go in life. And even if you say, oh, miss, I don't need to write fancy essays because I'm not going to become a fancy college professor when I grow up. Neither am I. I still did the fancy essays. You know why? What writing essays taught me is, number one, I need to be able to back up what I have to say. If in my essay I'm going to argue something, I need to be able to find proof that somebody else wrote, that somebody else researched, that can back up what I have to say, because I can't just say I'm right. How do I know I'm right? Second thing is that if you talk to people nowadays, whether it be verbally or online, people can't string together coherent thoughts. They go, oh, well, you're wrong because you're wrong. Okay, well, explain to me why I'm wrong. About, the president. Why are you bringing the president to this? Well, when I was a kid, okay, I don't understand how those things link up together. Like the Black Lives Matter movement. I'm like, I failed to see how those three things connect to each other, because people didn't learn when they were your age how to string together thoughts in a way that makes sense. So if I say to you, I think that it's important for you to have basic skills in life, that's what I'm talking about. It's not the essay that matters. It's not the grade you get on the essay. It's the act of learning how to put information together in a way that makes sense and for you to be able to communicate it. For basic algebra, you'd be surprised how people don't know how to look at things like trends. Right now, we're at home because of this COVID-19 panic, and they have all these graphs online everywhere. Well, the graphs, they show that there are trends. Some of the numbers are going up, some of them are going down, but people just look at the picture and go, oh, well, I guess it's safe to go outside right now. It's not. The trend downward means that there are less people getting sick, but there are still people out there getting sick and still spreading it to other people. It's not a zero. If you took algebra, you'll know as long as that slope for the graph is in any way greater than zero, then that means that people are still getting sick, but people didn't pay attention to algebra when they were in high school. And they think, oh, the graph's going down. No one's getting sick anymore. You don't know how to read a graph. Gladys, Ernest, I don't know. I'm just picking out names. So this is where the danger lies, that a lot of you say, the world expects me to do too much when I'm too young. School didn't prepare me for any of this. There are a lot of cases where I agree 100%. Schools need to teach better sex ed. I'm sorry, it's just a thing. School should teach you about how to balance your budget properly. I think it should be a class that you have to take. It shouldn't be a business elective. I think schools need to teach you more about typing and keyboarding, because you guys were born at the peak of technological advances in the history of mankind, and some of you type literally hunt and peck. It makes me want to cry. Those are things that I think schools can do a better job of preparing you for. But in terms of basic things like reading and writing and math and knowing human history, I feel like schools provide that because it is important. And you might not see the value in it right now, but when you're an adult and you don't have it, you'll notice the absence. If you already know it, you're going to take it for granted, because that's how it is. When you have something, you don't know how important it is. When you don't have it, you realize, oh shit, that was really important. For example, right now, one of the main reasons why I get really angry with people is that they say, oh, the cases of coronavirus, the numbers are going down, therefore it's fine to go outside. If you look at history and if you look up the Spanish influenza pandemic of, I want to say 1918, people were citing that as an example of, oh, well, there was a similar pandemic in, 100 years ago, and once the warm weather got there, once the winter passed, everybody was fine. If you actually study the history, after the cold weather passed and the summer passed, the next winter after that, more people died. It's in the history books. You can literally read it. You can Google it right now. But people remain ignorant to something that was taught to them. And now they're like, hey, let's go to the beach. Don't go to the beach. If you knew your basic history, then you would know not to do that. I feel like every episode it becomes like this. I start from point A and I go to point Q, and now it's time to go back to point B. Well, what I'm saying is that obviously school isn't for everyone, and obviously not everyone's going to want to sit in an office job wearing a suit their whole life. Everybody has different goals, and that's totally fine. However, don't use the I'm going to get famous, so F the school shit excuse, because it doesn't work out well. Generally, the people that I talk to who say, oh, well, I didn't take school seriously, I dropped out, when they become older, some of them straight up tell me, man, I wish I would have paid attention in school. Damn, why did they teach us in school? And I go, they did teach it in school, you just cut that day. Or as an adult, they go back to get an education, which is more time consuming, and you have to spend your own money, which is then, a whole other thing that you could have gotten a free education. Instead, you're doing this. So if you are using, I'm going to make it someday, therefore I don't need to know shit, it's not a good excuse. It's really not. And especially if you want to make it and you want to become a public figure, you need to know what you're talking about. You don't have to be a professor. You don't have to have a 200 IQ. My IQ, I feel like, is barely in the double digits these days. What I mean is that you can't neglect your job right now as a student and say, it's not going to matter in the end because I don't need an education. You do need it, at least to some degree. And I believe that to a high school education, I do believe it is necessary, because there are some people out there getting pregnant because they thought, I couldn't get pregnant if I have sex this way. And I look at them and I go, why would you think that? Of course you can get pregnant that way. Oh, miss, I didn't know that if you just ate nothing but potatoes that you could get scurvy. How do you not? There are straight up people that will drink out of sprinklers and hoses and go, I don't know why I have a stomach ache. You just gave yourself a parasite by drinking unfiltered water. What are you? It's just, there are some basic things that you learn in your math and science and English and history classes that they are life skills that you're going to need. There are a lot of things that I learned that I straight up don't use every day. That's true. But there is a lot of stuff that I do use on an everyday basis. And I don't mean for my job. I just mean every day, just in life normally. For example, a lot of you guys are like, oh, miss, like I got pizza, I got this. Do you want to try a little? And I'm always like, no, I can't. And the reason why is that I am super lactose intolerant. My body cannot digest milk fat. It just doesn't make the enzyme that you need. So this is something that you should have learned in bio or are in the process of learning. When you eat sugar, your body has to produce an enzyme that's going to break it down and digest it for you. But for some reason, my body, it doesn't produce the enzyme that breaks down the sugar in milk. So that's why I get a tummy ache, because my body can't digest it. So when I was in college, I started to notice that if I ate ice cream, I would get really bad stomach aches. And like, I love milk and Oreos, and I couldn't eat that. That would make my stomach hurt. And then I realized, oh, I might be lactose intolerant. And so I started experimenting. I said, okay, if I cut out this part, if I cut out cheese and milk in my diet, let's see if my stomach still hurts. Didn't hurt anymore. Tried a little bit of milk. Stomach hurt. Oh, look at that. Do you know where I learned that? Bio class, where we did those stupid lab reports I hated. And the teacher made us write out our hypothesis and all this stuff. I was using the scientific method as an adult. And I wouldn't have known how to do that if I didn't learn that in school. When I'm playing Animal Crossing right now, a lot. And there's a thing with, you buy turnips and the price of turnips changes throughout the week, every day. So you track the price of turnips and you look at trends and you try to figure out, when can I sell my turnips during the week when they're most expensive so I can make the most amount of money? That's algebra. That's math. I'm doing math in my game to make money in my game. And I'm a baller right now because I know how to do my math. When I'm talking to people who are wrong, I don't say to them, you're an idiot and I hate you. In my heart, I do. But with my mouth, I need to use the skills that I learned in English to be able to put together an argument and to listen, and then to acknowledge the fact that they said that and then destroy them with facts. So these are all life skills that I learned in high school. In high school, I took an accounting class, and I just took it because it was a business requirement. It is one of the best decisions I've made in my life, because now I know how to do basic accounting and I can balance my budget. I think ever since I started earning a salary, I don't think I've ever been in the red before. I've never gone over my monthly budget. I've always managed my finances pretty well because I learned how to do it in high school. Don't use, oh, I don't need this as an excuse to cop out. Don't. You are going to need it at some point. And you say, oh, I'm going to get rich. I'm going to get an accountant to do all that shit for me. Well, how are you going to get rich? Is an accountant going to fall out of the sky? You got to work up to that point, and then you can say it doesn't matter and I don't need it. But there is an order to how things should be done here. So pursue your fame, pursue your dreams. If you say school is not for me, at least finish high school and then decide, okay, school's not for me. I'm not doing college. I'm going to work. I'm going to make it. I'm going to get rich. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to be a celebrity. I'm going to be an influencer. I'm going to be a makeup guru. Do whatever you want to do because you can do that. But do not use that as an excuse to not try in school, because if school is hard, good. It should be hard. If you're not challenged in school, you shouldn't be in school in the first place. Don't use that to say, since school is hard, I don't want to do it because it's hard, therefore I don't need it. That's really not how the world works. That's like if a baby was learning how to crawl and it was hard, so they go, screw this, I'm just going to run. You need to build yourself up to that point where you can do that. I know this isn't going to be a easy thing to listen to for some of you. Some of you are going to get mad, like, oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about. It's just because she's a teacher. Am I broke? Am I homeless? No, I got a career. My dream was to be a teacher. It just happens, and I pursued it, and I made it, which is great for me. But I'm telling you this as someone who has a few years of life experience more than you do. Don't use your dreams as an excuse to neglect the now. What you're doing right now is important. It might not feel important, but it is important. There are some days where we do things, and I will tell you straight up, this is not important, but that's not every day that I say that. I usually don't say that. So that should tell you that whatever we're working on, it matters. Sorry for being a downer, but that's what it is. You can make it, but it's not an excuse. Anyway, that was your life advice from your very cheerful English teacher. On Monday, I'm going to be talking about a topic that I am very, very well versed in. So look forward to that. So have a good weekend, you guys, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.